Will the guests please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the anthem. National anthem will be sung by MMN 3 Caleb Harris and MMN 3 Caleb Wilson. Nuclear Power Training Unit, Charleston, arriving. Director, Military Personnel Plans and Policy Division, arriving.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing for the invocation by Chief Robles.
Good morning, everyone. Eternal and loving God, we humbly bow our heads and lift our hearts to you in thanksgiving for the grand accomplishment of these sailors gathered together today in this graduation. God, it was you that put it into their hearts of these graduates to join the world's greatest Navy and pursue the path of a nuke, leading them to Nuclear Power Training Unit Charleston. It was you, O God, that infused these graduates with grit and grace to not only excel in their studies, but to navigate through their numerous challenges they encountered on their journey and that culminated in this graduation. O merciful Lord, remember and bless the families near and far who believed in and supported this graduating class, as well as the instructors and staff of our training unit who helped guide them to success. And as this class prepares to go out into the fleet at the tip of the spear, wherever they are assigned, help them to know that you, O God, will go before them and stand with them as the one who orders our steps and props us up on every leaning side so that no error becomes eternal, no fall becomes fatal, and no problem is more powerful than your grace to bring us through. We ask all these things in the name that is above every name. Amen.
Please be seated. Admiral Waters, Captain Kett, Mr. Eshelman, the Technical Director, Site Command Master Chief Montello, distinguished guests, family, and friends, welcome to Naval Nuclear Power Training Unit Charleston graduation ceremony for Class 2301. I am Commander John Fitzpatrick, the Executive Officer of NPTU. We are pleased that you could join us here today as we recognize the sailors who dedicated so much of their time and effort in this final phase of their training. While we recognize those students who stand out from their peers, it is important to remember that each student dedicated thousands of hours in pursuit of this moment. Today is about the accomplishments of our sailors as they complete the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Training Pipeline. Please join me in a round of applause for our families, friends, and shipmates who played a large part in our sailors' success. You have our heartfelt thanks. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Nuclear Power Training Unit Charleston Commanding Officer. Captain Reed Koepp is a career submariner who had command of the USS Colorado, a fast attack submarine, and is now in his major command tour here at NPTU Charleston. Captain.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'll do this South Carolina style. Good morning, y'all. All right, good. Hey, this is a smaller group than the last one, and I would just like to ad-lib a little bit and say this is the Moored Training Ship 626, right? This is the Moored Training Ship that I qualified on, Crew Charlie. Any Crew Charlie folks out there? I guess that's the silent crew. I got it. Okay. That's right. So what do I know about Moored Training Ship 626? So very specifically for this group, our Moored Training Ship that we use, which is an actual reactor that we use to train our students, this actually happens to be the oldest pressurized water reactor in the world that they're qualifying on. Yeah, that's a... Yeah. Why do I tell you that? Because it's a testament to our program certification, our standards of qualifications, our design criteria, our maintenance standards. That's how we can do that. And so proud to still have the Moored Training Ship 626 in operation, and the team in the back gets a little bit of street cred as they go out to the fleet, having qualified on an old 41 for Freedom boat as they get ready to head off to their next assignment. Hey, I want to give a few shout outs, a few thanks today. Give you maybe a little bit of education about what our graduates are about to go do, and then I'll introduce our guest speaker. So first, I'd like to thank the Patriots Point staff here at the USS Yorktown. They enable us to put on this ceremony in this what is just an awesome venue to send our graduates out to their first assignment following graduation from nuclear training from the nuclear training pipeline. So I want to give a shout out to the Patriots Point staff for letting us use their facilities. I would also like to give a shout out to my staff. So I have about 1,400 active duty Navy staff that are, most of them are sea returnees, meaning they have already served one tour or more at sea, and they have come back here, went through a rigorous qualification program to qualify on the plant and then certify as a training instructor. And then this is the work that they're doing, and they work to qualify and certify our next team of graduates that will go out to our aircraft carriers and our submarines around the world. And our staff do this 24/7, 365 on 3 critical reactors and throughout our facilities and using high fidelity simulation equipment. So they're working right now while we're doing this. So let's give our staff a round of applause. All right, now I'd like to acknowledge the crowd a little bit. So if you're a veteran here, and if you're willing and able, could you stand, please, so we could acknowledge you? Thank you for that. Okay, also, if you are a spouse of anyone graduating today, if you're willing and able, would you please stand? Thank you. And I just can't thank you spouses enough for what you do. it is really eye-watering to know what role that you're going to play for our Navy and for our nation. I mean, you're going to move to places you've never been. You're going to come alongside other families in the shadows. We won't even know you're doing it. You're taking care of families, helping people adjust to a new community. You're volunteering in the community. You're on family readiness groups. Many of you volunteer to serve as command ombudsman. It's just, I can almost get emotional talking about all the things that you do. I just can't thank you enough. So I know as these graduates are about to go on a journey, you are equally going on it with them. And I just thank you for for your sacrifice that you're going to give us. So thank you for that. Okay. So let me educate you just a little bit about what these graduates are about to do. So train Navy nuclear operators, officers and enlisted. For our officer team, not necessarily in this crowd, but we do have some that are surface warfare officers. They've already signed, or they've already served on a non-nuclear fleet combatant where they got their warfare qualification, and then they've come back to get their nuclear certification before reporting to an aircraft carrier for a division officer tour. Our other officers are submarine officers, and they will go serve on fast attack submarines, strategic ballistic missile submarines, guided missile submarines that are deployed around the world, or perhaps in a major shipyard availability, equipping the next crew to go out and do our Navy's missions. And we also have direct input officers. That's a special instructor assignment that we recruit these officers from college. They go through the same training curriculum, and they stay here and they work with me as a certified staff instructor for a 5-year commitment to keep our training program going. So I'm really excited for their accomplishments. Our enlisted troops, various rates, electrical operators in charge of our electrical distribution systems and other services, our reactor operators who do just that. They control our reactor operations and our mechanics as well who control our turbines, our engines, all mechanical systems. And from that group, we actually select another rate specialty, if you will, and that's our engineering laboratory technicians. And what they do is they get additional training here at the schoolhouse with me for a few weeks where they're certified to control and manage the primary and secondary chemistry of our plant to make sure that we have that at the right specifications and standards to maintain the integrity, material integrity of our plants. So I'm excited for what they get to do. In addition, so lots of opportunities here. That's why I want the parents to know this and all the family. Many will get selected for various schools. There's a nuclear welder school that some will go to. Some will go to a propulsion plant local area network where they will get specialty training on how to manage our LAN in our propulsion plant. Some have been selected in various classes for junior staff instructor where they can stay behind and be an instructor at prototype for a couple years. We also have many that have applied and been accepted for various officer programs, either to go to the academy. Many of our sailors report as enlisted with college degrees and can get picked up for an officer candidate program where they'll just go to officer candidate school and then they'll receive a commission for there. And then we have our Seaman to Admiral program, which many of our sailors have applied for. Many got selected, some did not. Keep your heads up, keep applying if that's what you want to do. We're here to support you in that endeavor. So lots of opportunities for your sailors. Why do I tell you that? Because I have teenagers, and sometimes the best I can get at the kitchen table is a good, right? So you probably heard that before too. And so I just want to, let you hear what the opportunities are. Another thing that we're really excited about, many of our sailors you'll see walk across the stage with an extra chevron or a stripe across their arm, meaning they took the opportunity to do what we called Star Reenlist. And that's a program for nuclear sailors where upon nuclear qualifications and when they meet certain credentials of time in service and various other criteria, we will then automatically promote them to the next rank, which is E5, second class petty officer. Automatic promotion, opportunity to live in town, receive basic housing allowance, a sizable bonus, and that gives them a couple extra years on their contract, but a guaranteed shore duty at the end of their sea tour. So again, great opportunity. Many of those that were eligible have already made that commitment. Many of them will meet that eligibility requirement shortly after they report to the fleet. So I want to educate you on that, encourage them to still consider that. Just again, we want to give our sailors the best framework that they can for their personal and professional development, and I want to make sure you know of all those opportunities. Okay, great. That's a lot, right? That's the way we do it in the nuclear power program. We throw a lot out there and hope you get it all. So let me get to know you just a little bit. I would like to know, and I'm really encouraged by how many folks are here, and I know you've traveled from various locations. I'd really just like to know who traveled from the farthest. So who thinks they've got that? This is interactive, by the way. California, yeah, who can beat that? Washington. Okay, so Texas is not as far as California, just so we know. But everybody, I love, yeah. CMC's for Texas, so you made the Command Master Chief happy. All right, so great. Anybody? Where? Texas, okay, more Texas. Yeah, anybody else? Florida, okay, also not as far as California. Connecticut, all right, great, great. Jerusalem, all right, you're the winner. But no prize, just bragging rights. Okay, great. All right, so thanks for letting us get to know you just a little bit. Hey, one thing before I introduce our guest speaker and you get to see what you're really here to see, which is the graduates. Let me tell you what your sailors told me before I came up here. They said, we love when our family embarrasses us. That's what they said. They said, we love our nicknames. We love to hear things like, that's my sailor, I love you, that's my sailor. They love to hear their nicknames called, so that's what they told me, so I'm just telling you, just relaying. It might be a little, I probably need to check my nuclear integrity on that, don't I? But hey, so would love to hear you. Keep it PG is what I always like to tell you. And so anyway, without further ado, please allow me to introduce our guest speaker. He's a dear friend, shipmate, and mentor. In fact, he was my commanding officer on USS Virginia when I was a department head, so I'm very excited to introduce him and have him here as a guest speaker. Also a career submariner. He was the commanding officer of USS Virginia. He was a Commodore of Submarine Squadron 4. He served in various assignments all over our great Navy, to include a flag officer of Submarine Group 2, and now as the Director of Manpower and Policy for our Navy. Please let me introduce Rear Admiral Jim Waters.
All right, good morning. Yeah, good morning. I am really excited to be here. As Captain Kep mentioned, we were on USS Virginia together as Commander Waters and Lieutenant Kep. He was the navigator of USS Virginia, literally kept us on track the entire time. And we literally breathed the same air for 2.5 years. So he is a dear, dear friend and brother. And for the parents out there, my dad pride is swelling to be up here on the stage with Major Commander Reed Kep. So it is an honor to be here, so thanks, Reed. And I noticed as Captain Kep talked about highlighting some folks, he asked the spouses to, any of the spouses of the graduates to stand. I just want to relate, I know it's been a tough journey. My wife and I were married 2 weeks before we started nuclear power school, and 32 years later, we are Team Waters, going strong. So it can be done, and I wish that we could do it all again, but I'm not sure my wife would. But anyway, it's all good, and I'm just really grateful to see the spouses here. Tough journey, but you are strong, so thank you so much. I really appreciate the kind introduction and the invitation to speak here today. It's really encouraging. It is truly a privilege to join you aboard USS Yorktown here at Patriot's Point in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. I am honored to be just a small part of this big day, standing before these incredibly high-performing sailors, the very future of our Navy. For the families in the audience, thank you for supporting your sailors. You can be justifiably proud of their incredible accomplishment in completing the U.S. Navy's nuclear propulsion training program. There is no other like it in the world. It is incredibly rigorous, with tough, hands-on individual skills, team-focused practical evaluations, and exacting academic development. Think of where as for the students and graduates, the graduates in the back, think of where you all started when you arrived here in Charleston. Today, you are qualified to operate a floating nuclear power plant. It's amazing. Woo! Well done. I encourage the families here today to listen to their enthusiasm, their pride, and know that as they graduate, even greater success awaits them in the fleet, because there they truly become a part of something bigger than themselves. Ever since Commander Eugene Wilkinson signaled underway on nuclear power from USS Nautilus on January 17, 1955, naval nuclear power has changed the world. Now think about that. We're standing on an aircraft carrier that helped bring an end to World War II. 10 years, just 10 years after that war ended, we were sending nuclear submarines to sea from our country. It's an amazing thing. From that day, our submarines have roamed the world's oceans, untethered to the world above the surface. Shortly after that, with the advent of USS Enterprise in 1962, nuclear power unshackled our aircraft carriers from shore-based fuel bunkers, allowing them to roam farther and faster. A truly game-changing capability. And the graduating sailors here today are now part of that same nuclear legacy. With it, we can assure our national leadership that decisive American combat power is available to respond to any crisis anywhere in the world at any time. With it, we can also ensure that adversarial leaders around the world, think of people like China's Xi Jinping, North Korea's Kim Jong-un, and Russia's Vladimir Putin, they never really know where American undersea combat power is. And they are always unsure if we could be watching or within striking range every day of every year. They never really know when an American aircraft carrier could be on the horizon. You are now part of that asymmetric American advantage. Assurance for our president and uncertainty and worry for our adversaries. Welcome to the elite level. And I use that word with clear intent, although it is frequently misapplied in the world today. Only a tiny fraction of our society, our American society, qualifies to enter the program that these sailors are graduating from. And an even smaller number actually finish. No one else in the world can do what these sailors can now do for the safety and security of their fellow citizens. As volunteers from all parts of our country, they will give back to their nation in a way that is collectively grand in scale, yet individual in application. Through their grit, initiative, and technically demanding effort, they will ensure that our submarines and aircraft carriers deter American adversaries and assure American allies around the world. This is true whether they are operating their reactor plant to launch strike aircraft off the coast of a hostile land, or hundreds of feet under the surface of the ocean on the hunt for adversary submarines. Or even if they are repairing or refitting a reactor in the shipyard in order to return their ship to the unbroken chain of naval nuclear presence around the world. These sailors will make an incredible difference. While all of that is truly amazing, I know that many of the sailors sitting here today still have some important lingering questions. What can you expect when you get to the fleet? And what will the fleet expect of you? So rather than lay out some principles for life that I'm sure would be quickly forgotten, I thought I would give you my best, most direct answers to those straightforward questions. Answers based on personally walking in your shoes, although it was a few years, actually decades ago, really 3 decades ago, and also experience in leading many who have also walked in your path. So what can you expect in the fleet? First, you will find a culture that values hard work. There is much to do to ensure that our nuclear propulsion plants are ready. The standards are incredibly high, and there is no bandwidth to carry slackers. You will be judged by the character of your actions and the value you bring to the team. That may sound harsh, but it is the cold truth. And that is part and parcel of being a member of an elite team. So embrace it. Second, you will join a team that has a bit of a tough edge to it, but truly wants to see you succeed. They want your success because they are empathetic in having walked your exact path, and they are practical in knowing that your success helps them all to distribute the workload. No matter how tough your new team seems, at their core, they do want you to be successful. Now, that is not to say that you will not run into a few bitter pills out there, sailors who have faced challenges and not responded well. My best advice, don't attach yourself to them. They are not who you are, and they are not who we are. Remember the value you bring and the warrior toughness you have developed. And that should lead you to seek a more positive kinship within your team. Third, you can expect to be immersed in a culture that speaks boldly and openly about their failures and honestly seeks to learn from them. You will see sailors, both officer and enlisted, openly admitting when they err and then working with their team to fix what went wrong. You must be like that. Now that I've shared a little bit about what you can expect, let me change gears for just a moment, final few, and give you some insight into what the fleet will expect of you. First, you will be expected to work hard, to qualify, and contribute quickly. Expect that there will be myriad requirements to complete a check-in, to begin nuclear watch and maintenance qualifications, and even start the process to earn your warfare pin. The bottom line is that the sooner you can effectively carry some of your team's workload, the sooner you are truly an integrated member of that team. That may sound intimidating, but rest assured that because you proved your mettle here, you can do it in the fleet. Second, you will be expected to self-start. This is adulting on steroids. I cannot emphasize enough that you must not sit passively waiting for whatever comes next. Find the need and fill it. Grab the qual card and work on it. Find the scary first class who has been there forever and ask them for the checkout. Don't wait. Your reputation as a go-getter will smooth your path and earn the respect of those whom you join. Third and finally, you will be expected to learn from your mistakes. Your character will be tested when you have to admit that you misunderstood a step in the procedure or did not properly prepare for a brief. But that is not really the hard part. We expect nothing less. The hard part is how you respond going forward. You must do the work to learn from that mistake, regain your confidence, and hold your head up as you re-enter the fray. That is what the fleet expects. That is what earns respect. And that is what makes our Navy the greatest maritime fighting force in the world. So over a few short moments, I've highlighted the incredible nature of your accomplishments, the accomplishment of completing naval nuclear power training. I talked from my experience about what you can expect in the fleet and what the fleet expects of you. Now, it is up to you. You join an unbroken chain of excellence, a culture of impeccable standards and enduring success. This is your time. No one else anywhere in the world is more ready to begin this journey. Remember where you've come from and the values and skills you've gained through this program. When the challenges and pressure to bow before it, come, do not falter. You are part of an incredible team that will support you. You contribute to a worthy mission, and you are ready. Now go out there and get it done right. Hoo-yah, Navy nukes, go get 'em.
Thank you, Admiral. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jim Offutt, a retired Navy commander who has flown over 200 missions over Vietnam and has actually landed an aircraft on this very deck right above us. He is the president of the Charleston Council and past president of the National Navy League Council.
So thank you. It's my pleasure to represent Navy League as a private, nonprofit organization made up of citizens of the United States who support the Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Merchant Marine, together known as the Sea Services. We support through advocation and education. So we do things like this with our sailors for morale and welfare. We work in the legislative process on advocating for the budget of the Sea Services. And finally, our education program involves explaining the advantages of sea power, and we do that through digital and publications such as Sea Power. So now it's my great pleasure to present a Navy League coin and a gift to the outstanding graduate.
Navy League Award is presented to the first student on each moored training ship to qualify as a nuclear officer. ETN-3 Colin Van Sant. The Commanding Officer's Personal Excellence Award is presented to the sailor chosen from each crew who exhibits the greatest degree of professionalism. The selection criterion for this award takes into consideration student effort, motivation, adaptability, personal development, and performance of duty. One more time, I want to invite the guests, please come up and take pictures of your sailors as they come across the stage. The following sailors are winners of the Commanding Officer's Personal Excellence Award. ETN-3 Colin Van Sant, headed to Pre-Commissioning Unit, District of Columbia. ETN-3 Taylor Matsumara, headed to USS Theodore Roosevelt. MMN-3 Aaron Arnold, headed to ELT School. EMN-3 Alexander Avery, headed to USS Charlotte. MMN-3 Trent Hoffer, headed to USS Harry S. Truman. And now, the rest of Class 2301. MMN-3 Seth Ackridge, headed to USS Washington. MMN-3 Octavio Arteaga, headed to ELT School. MMN-3 Kendall Barnett, headed to USS San Juan. MMN 3 Stephen Bingham, headed to USS Hartford. ETN 3 Joe Boudreau, headed to USS Maine. MMN 3 Brandon Brunty, headed to ELT school. MMN 3 Carver Bundren, headed to ELT school. EMN 3 Kevin Chang, headed to USS John Warner. Ensign Christian Sharsh, headed to USS New Mexico. EMN 3 Bryce Cockrell, headed to USS Jimmy Carter. MMN 3 Adrian Cordero Rivera, headed to ELT school. Ensign Gabriel Duden, headed to USS Annapolis. Ensign Megan Falls, headed to USS New Jersey. MMN 3 Michael Angelo Greco James, headed to USS Pasadena. ETN 3 Jared Gossett, headed to USS Connecticut. EMN 3 Austin Hale, headed to USS Annapolis. Good? All right. Ensign Harrison Helmick, headed to USS Colorado. ETN 3 Joshua James, headed to USS Jefferson City. MMN 3 Nathan Jupp, headed to ELT school. EMN 3 Anna Landa Verde, headed to USS Abraham Lincoln. Ensign Luke Lota, headed to USS Charlotte. MMN 3 Emil Manika, headed to ELT school. MMN 3 Bryce Mansur, headed to USS Springfield. ETN 3 Robert Martinez, headed to USS Texas. MMN 3 Michael McGraw, headed to ELT school. Ensign Christian Meza, headed to USS Nebraska. MMN 3 Spencer Morones, headed to ELT school. MMN 3 Shane Morson, headed to ELT school. Ensign John Murray, headed to USS Hartford. EMN 3 Adam Olenschlager, headed to USS District of Columbia. Ensign Jack Perry, headed to USS Indiana. MMN 3 Andre Peterson, headed to Pre-Commissioning Unit, New Jersey. MMN 3 Tristan Piquet, headed to USS Harry S. Truman. ETN 3 Lincoln Randall, headed to USS John Warner. Ensign Abigail Rausch, headed to USS Wyoming. Ensign Mary Ruff, headed to USS Louisiana. Ensign Amelia Sigliano, headed to USS Louisiana. Ensign Alexander Shine, headed to USS Alabama. ETN 3 Samuel Sisko, headed to USS Charlotte. MMN 3 Nathaniel Slimmer, headed to ELT school. Ensign Chandler Smith, headed to USS Henry M. Jackson. Ensign Peyton Smith, headed to USS Illinois. ETN 3 Jacob Steinke, headed to USS Carl Vinson. Ensign Caitlin Stringer, headed to USS Massachusetts. Ensign Joshua Van Noy, headed to USS Montpelier. Go ahead. Ensign Samuel Vialasi, headed to USS Pennsylvania. Ensign Mary Wade, she's still waiting on orders, but we'll send her to a good spot. EMN 3 Bradley Wamples McBride, headed to USS George H.W. Bush. MMN 3 Joshua West, headed to USS Ronald Reagan. MMN 3 Caleb Wilson, headed to USS South Dakota. MMN 3 Scott Williams, headed to USS Theodore Roosevelt. Here we go. One more? Trundy.
We got you.
I'm sure we got you. I actually don't. MMN 3 Scott Trundy. Preston Trundy. Please give us a round of applause for all of our graduates. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the benediction by Chief Robles.
Now, O gracious Lord, as this graduation comes to an end and we prepare to leave this place, we ask that your loving presence go with us. When adversity comes to us, as we attempt to stand our watch, be near us. When anxiety shackles our hearts and grips our minds steady, so that we look back in thanksgiving and forward to our future with abiding hope. We ask all these things in your holy name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after we're done with the ceremony, not just yet, we will conduct a ceremony, a re-enlistment ceremony for a large number of sailors out on the fantail. Any family and friends that want to be there for that, please go through either one of these doors back to the fantail. That's where your sailors are going to be for that ceremony. Once again, congratulations to the graduates. Thank you, family, friends, and shipmates for being here today. On behalf of the commanding officer, technical director, and site command master chief, I wish you all fair winds and following seas. NPTU Charleston, attention, dismissed.